Hey, welcome to another class. My name is Ralph. I'm your yoga teacher. Today we have a intermediate flow for those of you who have been practicing for some time and really want to feel good within the body, want to get into a deeper flow. This is going to be great for you. We're going to work the outer hips and just really move throughout the whole body. So get something comfortable on and we'll get started here. Find your mat and I'll see you in class. So let's start in child's pose. Good old child's pose where we usually start bringing the knees on the outer edges of the mat, bring the toes together, sink your hips down toward your heels. And let's walk the hands all the way down the mat, palms facing down, and then slowly bring down the forehead to the mat. And just bring some awareness to the breath. Start to notice some of the sounds in the room or the space you're in currently. Just take note of it. And as we begin to practice today, start to withdraw the senses and bring it more inward to focus strictly on the breath. On your next inhale, let's breathe in for 4 seconds. Breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale through the mouth. 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, just like that, breathing in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more just like that. Let's inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Last one. Deep breath in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Extend the exhale. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Allow the breath to come back to its natural rhythm. Walk your hands a tad bit further up the mat. Pressing down through the palms, sinking your hips toward your heels. Good, and let's come on up to all fours. And let's work through a few cat-cows. So inhale, look up. Exhale, press away from the mat. Curl the spine into cat. Inhale up to cow. Exhale, press down. Good. A few more on your own here. Sync the breath with movement. Good, last one. Nice, and let's come back to neutral. And let's warm up the wrist a little bit here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go over toward the left. So bring the body, weight of the body up toward the left and around over to the right. Let's come back, sink in toward the hips. Good, and just warming up the wrist. You can make big circles, small circles, whatever feels good for you at the moment. Nice, and let's go the opposite way. So going over to the right, keep pressing down through the hands. Nice, and coming back to neutral. Just forward and back here. So inhale, lean forward into the wrist and the hands. Exhale, come back as if you were going into child's pose with the hands. Inhale, reach the body forward, keeping the hands where they are. Exhale, come back, sinking the hips toward the back of the mat. Inhale, lean the body forward over the fingers. Exhale, come back. Good. A few more just like that. Inhale, forward over the fingers. Exhale, moving away from the hands. 2 more just like that. Keep going. Sinking the breath. Last one. All right, let's come back to neutral. Move the wrist, lift that right hand off the mat, make some circles. Let's go over to the opposite side, left hand, small circles with the wrist. And from here, with your hands, point both sets of fingers out toward the sides. So if your hands are pointing toward the left and to the right. We're gonna do the same thing here, so moving forward and back. Forward and back. Now let's go side to side. Forward and back. Coming back to neutral, if you can bring your fingers pointing toward you, spin the fingers around. If you can't, feel free to stay where you just were. And just small sudden movements, moving forward and back, same thing, really open up the forearms. And if you need to ease off, please feel free to ease off. If you can make tiny circles this way, try it. If not, stay with the same motion you're already doing. Good, and let's bring the hands back forward. Last little wrist mobility here. So bring the tops of the hands onto the mat. Let's just start with one hand. Your left hand palm is facing up. The top of that left hand is on the mat. And let's just small forward and back motions. You should really feel this in the top part of that forearm. Good, and let's switch sides. Left hand is back on the mat. Right hand, the top of the hand is faced onto the mat, and let's do the same opposite side. Forward and back. Good, and release. Bringing the knees and thighs together, coming into a kneeling seated position, and let's just move out the wrist. Clockwise, counterclockwise, squeezing the fingers, making it into a fist. Good, and let's come back to all fours, and let's come right on up to downward facing dog. Pressing into the hands, lifting the knees, pressing back with the hips, pointing your gaze between your feet. Keep pressing down through the inner edges of the hands. On your next inhale, let's lift up to the toes and come down. I'm gonna do a count of 20. On your next inhale, lift up to the toes. Exhale, bring the heels back down. And on a count of 20, we're just gonna do the same motion here. So lift up to the toes. Exhale, back down. And I'll count you here. So let's keep going. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Keep pressing down through the fingers and the hands. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18,
19, 20. And let's pedal out the feet. 10 pedals. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Walk the hands back toward the feet. Keep a slight bend in your knees. And let's come into ragdoll position, grabbing both elbows with the hands, reaching the crown of the head down toward the mat. And start to really focus on the breath, bringing the awareness back within the body. Good. Bringing both hands back onto the mat into a halfway lift. Inhale. You can bring your hands on your shins. Exhale back down to Uttanasana. On your next inhale, we're going to do a spinal roll all the way up. Last thing that comes up are the hands and the arms. Reach all the way up to extended mountain pose. Hands and arms coming out by your side. Both hands coming together at the top, pointing your gaze toward the thumbs. Feet are still hip width apart. Good. Breathing in. Exhale, fold forward, come all the way down to Uttanasana. Halfway lift, breath in. Fold back into Uttanasana, exhale. And let's walk the hands back to high plank. Keep pressing down through the hands. The heels are reaching to the wall behind you. And downward facing dog. Inhale, reach your right leg up to the sky. Bend your right knee, open up the hip. Point your gaze between that right armpit. Let's do some small circles with the knee here. So small circles, keep pressing down through the hands. Let's go the opposite way. Good. Back to three-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, bring that right leg back down. Let's go to the opposite side. Inhale, lift the left leg up to the sky. Three-legged dog. Bend your left knee, open up the hip. Pointing your gaze between that left armpit. A few small circles with the knee. Really reach that left heel over toward that right hand. Let's go the opposite way with the knee. Back to three-legged dog. Bringing that left leg back down to the mat. Let's come all the way down to child's pose. So bringing the knees and the thighs together. Both hands reaching behind you, palms facing up. And bringing your forehead down to the mat. Find the breath. Good, and coming back up to all fours. Curl the toes, lift the knees, downward facing dog, press back. Inhale, reach your right leg up to the sky. Bring that right knee to the chest. Step the right foot through. Bring the left knee down to the mat, release the back toes. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. Find your breath. Keep leaning into that front knee, strong right heel onto the mat. Right elbow comes down to the right thigh. Left hand reaches over toward the right. Feel free to bring your right hand down onto the mat to get a deeper side stretch.
Bring both arms back up to center. Exhale, frame the right foot, curl the back toes, lift the left knee, step back to downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Point your gaze between the feet. Left leg reaches up to the sky for 3-legged dog. Inhale. Exhale, bring the left knee into the chest. Step the left foot through. Bring down the right knee, release the right toes. Inhale, reach both arms up to the sky. And find the breath as you open up that inner part of your right hip, right groin area. Keep lunging into that front knee. Good, breathing in. Exhale. Left forearm comes down onto the left thigh. Right hand reaches over toward the left. And again, feel free to bring your left hand down onto the mat for a deeper side bend. Good. Inhale back up. Both arms reaching up to the sky. Exhale, bring the hands down, frame the front foot, curl the back toes, lift up off the right knee. Let's step back to downward facing dog. 2 breaths. Good. Inhale, lift up to the toes, bend the knees, hop or step to the top of the mat for halfway lift. Inhale, fold forward, exhale. Extend the mountain pose all the way up to the sky. Inhale. And fold forward, exhale. Uttanasana. Halfway lift. Raise the eyes, raise the chest. Step back to high plank, lower all the way down to low plank. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Good. Halfway lift, step or walk toward the top of the mat. Inhale. Fold forward, exhale. Extend the mountain pose all the way up, inhale. And let's start to flow through a little bit here. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway lift. Step back, high plank. Chaturanga Dandasana. Upward facing dog, inhale. Downward facing dog, exhale. Good, halfway lift, step or jump to the top of the mat. Inhale. Fold forward, exhale. All the way up, inhale. And let's go again. I'll just cue the breath. Fold forward. Exhale. Breathing in. Exhale. Breathing in. Up dog. And exhale. Good. We should be right here in downward facing dog. 3 breaths. That's 2. Good, and that's 3. Inhale, reach your right leg up to the sky. And let's walk the right hand in toward the mat, the center part of the mat, and bring that right foot all the way to the outside part of that right hand and do the same thing. Step that left foot on the outer edge of that left hand for Malasana squat. Good, sinking down into the hips, bringing the hands to heart center in a prayer position. Find your breath. Feel free to close down the eyes. Good. Staying in Malasana squat. Release the hands down onto the mat, palms facing up, and bring the chin down toward the chest. Good, bring the hands back to heart center. Pressing the elbows into the inner parts of the thighs. Good, placing the hands down onto the mat. Lift up and toe heel the feet to hip width apart into a halfway lift. Breathing in. Exhale, fold forward. Spinal curl all the way up. Allow the arms to dangle in front of you. And let's bring the arms out toward the side. All the way up to extended mountain pose. Good. And interlace the thumbs here. So left thumb is on top of the right thumb. Both fingers, sets of fingers are lifting up. And let's bend over toward the right. Point your gaze up toward the hands. Back up to center. Inhale. Exhale, bend over to the left. Good, inhale back to center. Let's switch sides with the fingers, with the thumbs. So right thumb is on top, but interlacing the thumbs. Let's bend over to the right one more time. Feel that down that left side body. Inhale back up to center. And let's exhale, bend over toward the left. Inhale back to center. And just a small back bend. Good. And let's fold all the way forward into Uttanasana. Just stay in Uttanasana for a moment here. Feel free to bend the knees as much as you need to. Your hands can be on your shins, or you can bring the hands all the way down to the mat, whichever is most comfortable to you. We're going to come into a standing split. So both hands, walk them a tad bit further onto the top of the mat. They may come off the mat. On your next inhale, raise your right leg, raise the right heel up toward the sky. Keep both hands down onto the mat, pressing down through that left foot. And find your breath. Good. Through your next exhale, see if you can raise that right heel a tad bit more. Good. Inhale, bring your right knee behind the left knee and open up to balancing half moon. So left hand stays down, reach your right arm up to the sky and open up with the right hip. Place the sole of your right foot on the wall behind you. You should feel this on the outer part of that right hip. Keep pressing down through the left foot, all four corners. Pointing your gaze at the top of the mat. Breathing in. On your exhale, bring that right knee back behind the left knee. Back up to standing split right side. And let's lower down. Good. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold in. Let's go to the opposite side. Standing split left side. Inhale, raise the left foot, raise the left leg. Pointing your gaze down toward the front of the mat, both hands on the mat. Find your breath.
Maybe feeling a little bit of fatigue or the difference between the right and the left leg. Really feeling this on that right or outer hip. Continue breathing through it. Use your breath with you. Don't fight against it. A few more breaths here, and then we'll head into balancing half moon on this side. Breathing in. Exhale, bring that left knee behind the right knee, placing your right hand down onto the mat. Inhale, lift up to balancing half moon. Left side, left arm and hand are reaching up toward the sky. Really extend that left leg toward the back of the room, placing the sole of your left foot on the wall behind you. Your gaze is pointing to the top of the mat. And if you do have a block, always feel free to use a block. Usually I do as well. It does help when you are in balancing half moon to have that block for the right hand. But keep lifting up with that left hip, left glute area. Keep lifting up. Last breath. Good. Bend that left knee behind the right knee. Back up to standing split. Inhale. And let's fold back into Uttanasana. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Extend the mountain pose all the way up. Inhale. Hands come together at the top. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathing in. Step back to high plank. Let's hold this high plank for a moment. Keep pressing down through the hands. And we're lower for 5 seconds here. Bring your elbows to the back. 5, lower down. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and release the toes. Bring in one side of the face onto the mat, closing down the eyes, find the breath. 5 intentional breaths here, really deepen it and extend it. Good. And let's come into Cobra. Onto the fingertips, bring it a tad bit wider than the mat. Inhale, lift on up to Cobra. Create some space between the shoulders and the ears, which means dropping your shoulders down your back. And let's come down. Good. Inhale, lift up. Find the breath. Reaching both legs back behind you. And come down. Last one here. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, come back down. Bringing the hands underneath the armpits. Upward facing dog, press down through the hands. We'll stay in this upward facing dog here for a moment, because as we flow in most practices, we tend to kind of breeze past it. So make sure your wrists are stacked underneath the elbows. Same with the shoulders, pressing down through the hands. The tops of the feet are pressing down to the mat, lifting on up through the knees and the tops of the thighs. Inhale, lift the eyes, lift the chin. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Breathing in. Exhale, downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Good. Inhale, 3-legged dog right side. And half pigeon right side. Bring your right knee to that right wrist. Walk your left foot back. Top of that left foot is on the mat. Find your breath. And if it's comfortable to stay here, feel free to, or come down onto the forearms, or all the way down to the chest, whichever is the most accessible to you. Remember to continue listening to the body, listening to the breath. Allow it to guide you, and allow it to create more space so that you can explore postures in different ways. As you inhale, really send it to the outer right hip, right glute area. And through the exhale, see if you can find a little bit more space. Maybe you can come down to the forearms, or maybe you can come down all the way to the chest, or bringing the forehead down onto the mat. But play around with it. You know where your edge is. There's no competition. This is not a race. You know what's best for you. You know what's best for your body. No one else. Keep working with the breath. A few more breaths. See if you can find more space. Deepen the inhale. Extend the exhale. Last breath. Beautiful. And let's bring the hands back onto the mat. Pressing up. Curling the left toes, lifting up off the left knee. Step back to 3-legged dog right side. And bring that right foot back down to downward facing dog. And let's go to the opposite side. Inhale, left leg lifts up to 3-legged dog. Exhale, bring your left knee to the left wrist for half pigeon. Walking the right foot back, making sure your alignment is in good standing, or that fits the body the best. And let's come into half pigeon left side. I give you the freedom to explore all parts of the body, especially the hips, outer hips in this posture. And I'll let you breathe here. Find more space through the exhale. Coming back to the breath if the mind starts to wander. A few more breaths. Last breath here. Nice work, nice work. Let's start to walk the hands back toward the body, pressing down to the hands. Curl the right toes, lift on up from the right knee. Step back to three-legged dog, left side. Lift that left leg up to the sky, pressing down to the hands. Good. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pedal out the feet. Good. And come down onto the knees. Bring the knees and thighs together.
Come back into that seated kneeling position, bringing the right hand on top of the left hand, like you're cupping the hands together. Bring down the eyes. And let's focus on the breath for just a moment. Good, and slowly blinking open the eyes. Seating over to one side of the body. Extending both legs down toward the mat. Reaching both arms forward and slowly curl the spine, come all the way down to the back. Good. And let's place both feet onto the mat. Stack your knees and ankles. And come into bridge pose. So inhale, press down through the feet, lift the hips up. And find the breath here. Hips and knees are in line. Same with the knees and the ankles as best as you can. Pressing down through all four corners of the feet. Good, last inhale, and exhale, come back down. Come out the bridge one more time. Interlace your hands underneath you this time if you can, and you'll come on up to the shoulders. So on your next inhale, lift up through the hips, interlace the hands underneath you, curl the shoulders to create more space, pressing down to the feet. Find the breath. Good, and release. Extend your left leg down the mat and bring your right knee into the chest. Squeeze the right knee into the chest. And let's switch sides. Inhale. Exhale, switch sides. Right knee comes into the chest. Left leg extends. Good. A few more times just like that. Good. Last time on the right side. Last time on the left side. Good. Both feet planting down onto the mat. Cross your right ankle on top of the left knee. And let's come into a seated forward fold here.
Inhale, grab your left shin with both hands and keep pressing your right knee away from the body. Keep your right foot active to feel it a tad bit more into the right hip. Keep pulling that left knee in toward the body. Good, breathing in. Exhale, squeeze a tad bit more to find some more space. And exhale. Good, let's switch sides. Left ankle comes on top of the right knee. Inhale, grab for that right shin. Left foot is active. Keep pressing your left knee away from the body. And breathe. Last breath. Find more space through the exhale. And release. Both feet planted down onto the mat. Inhale, reach both legs up to the sky. Press the ceiling with the soles of the feet. Try to make those legs as straight as possible. It doesn't necessarily matter where your hands are right now, but what we're doing next is grabbing for the shins, the outer parts of the lower legs, or if you can, grab for the toes, the big toes with the peace fingers. Keep pressing your low back into the mat. To work the back sides of the legs one more time. Keep the feet active, almost pointing your toes back toward the head. Relax your shoulders onto the mat. A few more breaths. Good. Slowly release the legs, release the toes. Bend the knees. Squeeze the knees into the chest, pressing your low back down into the mat. Make that connection. Deep breath in. Deep breath out through the mouth. Two more just like that. Breathing in through the nose. Exhale through the mouth. Last one. And exhale. Good, and release the knees, but keeping the knees where they are. Okay, we're just gonna do a supine twist over toward the left. Okay, so drop the knees over toward the left. Bring your hands and arms into a cactus position. Pointing your gaze over toward the right. And if you need to bring your right leg, right knee back toward the center of the mat, feel free to do so, just depending on the back and how it's feeling, the low back. Really try to make that connection with that right shoulder onto the mat. Good, on your next inhale, bring the knees back to center, keeping them up, using some of the abdominal muscles. Let's go over to the opposite side. Exhale. So both knees coming over to the right. Bringing their gaze over toward the left. Left shoulder is making connection with the mat. Maybe closing down the eyes. Last breath. And let's use the abdominal muscles to bring the knees back up to center. Squeeze the knees into the chest one last time. And Supta Baddha Konasana. Bring the sides of the feet back onto the mat, placing the soles of the feet together, knees dropping outward, both hands and palms facing up. Bringing the eyes closed. Start to deepen the breath. Slowly inch your feet a tad bit further away from you, just to feel this stretch in a different area within the growing. 3 breaths here. Good. On your next inhale, bring the knees together. Placing both feet down onto the mat, extending your left leg down the mat as followed by your right. And let's come into Shavasana. Slowly bringing down the eyes. Really letting go of the practice today, as well as all of the muscles, the tendons. Releasing and relaxing everything into the mat. Maybe getting something to cover down the eyes. As you begin to slow down the breath even more, relaxing the eyebrows, the middle of the eyes, followed by the chin, your jaw, unclenching the teeth. Relaxing the throat. Allowing the body to feel heavy, dropping deeper and deeper into the mat. Allowing the feet to drop outward, releasing the hands. by placing your right hand on the belly, bringing your left hand onto the heart center. And as you inhale, feel the belly expand. And as you exhale, feel it collapse back within the body. Feel free to stay in Shavasana for as long as you need to. I appreciate you for practicing with me today. Continue moving the body, continue finding the breath. Namaste.